In this video, we're going to put to the test what is claimed to be our best video AI upscaler. Yes, it's the Topaz Video AI 7, and specifically two new models, Starlight and Starlight Mini, which is diffusion-based model. This video does not sponsor by anybody, so I did purchase by myself, and because of this, I will greatly appreciate it, your support if you're using my reference link, just in case if you decide to upgrade your current applications or purchase Topaz Video AI. Just those little kickback does help to test new applications. And as well, if you watch video all the way, like, share, subscribe, will help this channel grow. Well, let's go ahead and start testing. Please keep in mind this is our first test, and I will have it much more in depth in upcoming video. But I just want to show you why those models was introduced and what does it make them a big difference from existing models. First, let's speak what we're going to test. Right here you can see I have some videos, and this is videos, if you're interested, that was created inside the video with a 1080p output. So right here, this is the segment. Then I have to compile inside the DaVinci Resolve. And also in DaVinci Resolve, I was creating as an output file to the 1080p, 720p. It's just much easier if you have it your original source and you downgrade it later. When you try to upscale, you can compare, downgrade it, and upscale to original and see how well it can restore and can it do better or not. Because I did try to restore old footage, but without comparison, you don't know how good it should be in original. Well, let me go first give you overview of all these models that currently exist inside the Topaz Video AI and kind of give you an idea why the new models was introduced. And you can find those models on the side when you click and enable enhancement. Notice right here we have our first AI models, Starlight and Starlight Mini. One is a cloud processing, one is locally on a machine, and below we have our traditional models. The Proteus, it's a general cleanup, like 1 to 4 upscaling, follow to meet quality clips. The LED, you fine tune like the blur, noise, some details, halos. It is a very common model that used many times. So iris, it also include our lower or medium quality that we can select it, which is a very good work for the face in noisy, how compress or interlacing archives. Also use it like for second pass. And many of these upscaling, you actually can have it multiple passes. So example, you can just work first on upscale and after on removing noise or some in opposite way, which is kind of nice because you can stack those processes together. Well, next we have NICS, which is a high resolution footage. So if you have it like 4K already resolutions, but it was shot like in poor light with high noise, so you probably want to use this. It is high resolution footage, which is have it very strong denoise without softening edges, and it's run about 1 to 2x upscale. The next rear, and in rear you'll notice we have it X and XL, so both models, and right here kind of actually specify about this, and it is 4x upscaling, and it's all work very well when you need like more organic elements like hair or some more defined. So this is work very well with this. Next right here we have it Artemis, and this is what we call Swiss Army knife. Well, technically it is for most common, so it's going to pick different variations. Right here below you can see we have it all of this different quality as well what you want to focus, and it is have it married to variants that match kind of quality for what you need to work with. So kind of generic upscaler. Then next we have it Gala, and this is already good kind of live, if you have already good live action footage, high resolution. It's kind of for the cleaning, also CG animations, line work, they needed sharpening. So it's a more contrast-based recognition kind of things. And here, down right here, it's a more manual surgical sharpening with other models that it uses fidelity for uniform. So if you notice, all of these models, many of them, they're utilizing sharpening, upscale. The RIA can utilize some model to analyze, to refine the hair, but all with these models, what's happening, wherever we look on them, how they work, they will analyze image, previous frames or other ones, and based on that, they can remove like halo, remove some elements, and upscaling. But the problem with them, they cannot add new elements. Well, because it's need actually analyze on level of AI what to add. For example, if you have it already hair and you need to add additional hair, those models cannot do it. They only can work with what exists. The models that can work and add, it's a new diffusion AI models. And diffusion models work by removing some noise, and instead the noise replaced with new elements, depend on how description work. So the Topaz AI, it does not work with all videos at time. It's work with each frames, but it does have it in mind previous frames and past frames. So it's for coherence, it's no content or location for this frame. And how the noise work? So for example, right here we have a picture. And if you ever work with the image generations, you will notice that usually create from image, you have it absolutely noise. You have it like this, you have this kind of noise, maybe it's sometimes color, and application of RAS, then noise, kind of remove noise and try to find does it look, in some case I will compare this, like maybe you look on the clouds and you squint your eyes and you can see, I think I see the elephant in the clouds, kind of like this. So in some ways, imagine this. It's only with math, but it does something similar. Yes, it says, does it resemble elephant to you? Yes. Okay, let's go to next step and introduce more and more noise. But this is if you start from beginning. If you already have a video frame, what you need to do, you're actually going to add noise over, like right here. And you can see, for example, this is original image, and this with noise. So you can still see the original image. You can still have it full inherent, but by removing this introduction noise, you can replace this noise with additional elements. And if it was totally flat, nothing was on behind, for example, no texture, nothing, the noise can allow you to add those details into this. So, and because of this ability to add details, two new models, Starlight and Starlight Mini, which is diffusion-based, allowed Topaz to add details that is never been exist in the footage. So it's meaning when you upscale or you have a very poor quality, like in old time, then you can actually introduce elements. The question is come up, how does AI know what to add? How does it recognize? And then this can become image interrogation, what they call, or clip or recognition system, when AI look on a picture and kind of identify what does it see on an image. And of course, when it can identify, it can add those elements. The trick and the hardest parts in the creation of this, it is to recognize related to the image. Because if you do just per one image, you recognize something, you go to next, and now you have it different. So for example, if you have a person with a hair and a moving head, in this case, if you go just per one image, the hair will change from image to image and you will see the flickering. And this was a very common problem on the first AI animations. When I did videos about 2 years ago, you can see constantly flickering. It was constantly a problem. So the new system, they analyze more than just frames, and they compare them and make coherence based on this. So it's a little bit more complex. What's happening here, that Topaz utilize that model. Well, it seems like already done. And you know what? It does have it quite a bit comfy UI models and other models that is upscale video in a very good way. So you will say, what does it make different? The biggest different right here in Topaz AI that you don't need to install ComfUI. You need to have it absolutely zero knowledge of AI. You don't need to install any other stuff. All what you needed is just have this application run, and then you can actually do AI upscale with diffusion models. And that is a huge difference. Okay, we'll speak in a little bit about quality, how it is produced. But that is what allowed us to do. In one application you install, you don't manage server on your computer. It will does for you everything. So that is great. Well, let's look on two options. We have it Starlight, which is originally introduced, and this cloud-based. Well, it's not big surprise. A lot of other services allowed us to do this. What recently was added, and you can see it's brand new, at a Starlight Mini, which can run locally on your computer. It's meaning you don't pay for any credits, which we'll cover in a second. You don't need to worry about internet connections. It is run on your computer, and best of all, you don't need to worry about how to run that server on your computer. It is run just in one application. Well, it's have it plus and minuses. Of course, because it's utilized diffusion model and it's utilized probably open source, I'm assuming, I don't know all information, I'm just assuming on what's happening. It is have limitations. First, it's need run only on the NVIDIA GPU. So you need to have an NVIDIA card to allow this run. Okay, number two, it is requirements for the hardware. It is minimum required 8 GB RAM to run this. So you need to have it quite a bit, and more is better. And trust me, when I try preload models, it is taking a lot of memory and it's take a lot of time, because like this footage, about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, it took 15 hours to upscale from 1080 to 4K. So it does take long. It doesn't mean this application is slow. When I try to do same on diffusion models using ComfUI, it will take about same amount of time. So it is, you need to expect. And the reason is majority it's how many frames need process, how much stuff it's need to do. Well, next for me, biggest withdraw, it is predefined model. So what I was meaning, if I select Starlight Mini, you can see I don't have it any other options. I can change something maybe, but not really. I cannot change my frame rate. I cannot do a lot of stuff. So you need it pre-process before you run through Starlight. For example, if you want to change frame rate, you probably want to go and have it one pre-pass through the Topaz when you have it like 60 frames per second or other things. Next, you want to take that footage and run again with Starlight now to upscale and add additional details. Well, I also run this on a cloud. The two models, the different, I did not honestly saw the visual too big difference between these two models, and I'll show in a second. But the cloud obviously take much faster because they utilize they servers, and they have way more powerful cards than I do, GPUs. And Starlight Mini, it is took me for the 5 seconds clips, and it's what I'm using here. And by the way, just I'm using footage. I don't know if you mentioned or not, but I'm using footage which I created inside the Vido, and this is 1080p 5 seconds footage. It's they're utilizing a new O1 model, and I'll drop, if you're interested, I will drop link down below for you so you can get like 80 credits and you can try by yourself. And just let you know, Vido does not sponsor this video either, so it just all from what I was using. Okay, and 5 seconds is actually on your local machine process quite a bit fast. And I would recommend instead, like what I try to do here, take 2 minutes. This is video, it's take 2 minutes to create this video. Set multiple jobs for like 5 seconds and process them first. It's actually, I find out it's processed much faster than you try to process bigger. And actually, in fact, it's very interesting, because if you're going with even on cloud, the maximum you can process right now, it's a 5 minutes segment. So it's how much memory they need loaded and reuse it. So be sure you're using small ones. Okay, well, now let's go a little bit more straight in and see how it's work. If you utilize Starlight on a cloud, it's actually not very hard. You just select video, you click on a clear cloud render, and you notice right here you have it few options. 1080p, and you have it 90 credits per minute. Right now they give it kind of special. Try to use its 150 credits to start for you, so you can play around with this. For 5 seconds it took me about 5 credits, I think, something like that. So it's about 1 credit per second, but they also says it is 9 credits per minute, 9 frames. So it can vary depending on how many frames per second you have it. If you're going with 4K, it's going a little bit more, 150 credits per minute. But if you want purchase credits is not that cheap. If you look right here, you have 400 credits, and it's a 10 cents per credit. It's quite a bit expensive if we speak about this, but again, they're running their own cloud. You need pay for the hardware, you need to pay for a lot of stuff, and it's understandable. So if you want, general say it's get quite a bit expensive if you use it cloud, but maybe for small is fine. They also right now, if you're getting right now, they have a preview where you can have it 10 seconds free every week, so you can try kind of experiment with this. And I think it's point to try to people kind of use it Starlight, see what real power in this it is using. And of course, if you're using Starlight Mini, it is up to your hardware, how fast your video card, GPU running, how much VRAM you have it, and all these additional options. So it's depend on your local machine. I'm working right here with RTX 3090 with 24 gigabyte RAM. But here's interesting things. I don't, and this is a small tip, let me tell you, don't use it all your memory. If you have an 8 gig, you kind of force it to this, but in your case, I would recommend you going in options like file properties, with my preference right here, and we're going to processing, and inside processing, just set how much maximum memory you want to use it. So on my RTX 3090, and I will use it 80%. Notice you can have different processors that do recommend set to the 1 or 2. Somehow how it's work diffusion models, it will slow down if you use it more. And for me, I don't mind to set and run this on the background while I'm doing some other stuff. So in this case, I will just set maximum process 1, set 80% on the max memory. On this case, it can run, and I not just lock my machine just to processing, so I can go and do some other stuff. And this is what settings kind of work for me in this case. Okay, well, let's look a little bit on the footage what was done. And right here you can see I created by the way, this video I'll put it in the end so you can preview by yourself if you're interested. This is AI generated video with a video, and a couple things what I want to show you, it is right here. Let's look on this segment. Okay, and this is let's at the beginning right there. There is our, this is 1080p original preview, and if we come closer, you can see obviously the AI generated happen right here. So the first we generated on the cloud, and this is we can compare. One thing is I notice it does create a little bit cleaner but little bit muddy, and I think it's the reason it's how it's processed, because you can see it's not as sharp as original. So we have it our original, but it does add details, and nice things about adding these details. Okay, before and after, it does kind of smooth, add a little bit more in a hair and clean up. It's look almost like natural footage. I did like this, and as well add some details. The one thing what I did not like it is if you work before with a Topaz like Gigapixel, for example, right here, and you use it the recover model, which is some diffusion kind of AI model, you'll notice right here you'll have it amount of details. And I do like this because I can select the higher amount of details, and based on this tell how much I want influence of the model to create any specific things. But if we look on the inside the Topaz video, I don't have these options. I have it only options. I want to select this model and let the whatever magic settings there to work. So I don't have it ability. And one point I understand, and problem is a limitation. If you ever work with before, like with UI or any other video upscaler, it does have a lot of customizations. You can customize how much details, what model, everything, but it's come with a price. And one main price it is a lot of time model can crush it. It's very hard. You need to update a lot of stuff. I mean, too many variables you need to control and kind of juggle between them. So here they have to approach one preset minimum juggling, because they don't know what people are going to use it. Yes, so they have some requirements for the hardware, but it's still, they don't know necessarily what are you using PyTorch 3, are you using Python or whatever, because original UI and stable diffusion, those models, they're running with Python code or other things. So they don't have, they have their own compile code, their own compile model. And it's understandable. I wish they did have it some, maybe in the future, they will have it some options, how much detailizations I want to add, because that will be nice. And of course, more details sometimes take a little bit longer time. But at this time right now, this is just only you can select model and hope, cross your fingers, it will create it. So far what I saw, it does good job on upscaling. It did remove some artifacts. It's make real natural looking footage. So when I was previewing, like right here, I mean, seriously, this was, you can see how it's artifact, and right here how it's looking. And this is 1080p, and when I upscaled to 4K, some stuff was become way more natural looking. I mean, they removed those compression, other stuff. I mean, it did a very good job to the point it was look like real footage, not like AI generated footage. Well, and here let's compare a couple other things. So there you can see this is okay, let's look right here. Look at how clean it is. I mean, seriously, it is clean up very good before and after. I know it's way sharper. And this is because I'm upscaling this 1080 and we're previewing like in 4K, and definitely you can see a problem here. And this is going upscale, it's add nice natural look. Now let's look, this is what's generated on a cloud, okay? And here's what they're generated with a Mini. Okay, right here, let me enable. And you can see Mini have a little bit more haloing right here, and I think it is due to the limitation or quantizations of the models. What is meaning quantizations? If you know like arrays in math, yes, and you have an array, and I'm very simplified right now. You have an array, and you have an array, for example, 10 by 10 in a matrix. Yes, it's actually multidimensional. We'll just simplify how it says 10 by 10, and it's a vectors inside all this stuff. And this is pre-trained model. So now you don't have ability, because those models will require probably a huge amount of space. For yours run on computer, you need it make smaller, what's called mini model, yes. And the quantization, they remove some of those parameters and make it maybe from 100% quality, what they have before, to maybe about 97, 98%. It's not a big loss, but it does have it lost. And because of that loss in quality on a mini model, well, it's called mini for a reason, right here you can see some changes does applied. But general, it still create a great effect. So let me go ahead. Okay, this is will go original and this upscale. And you can see how it's cleaned up. Of course, as one small frame probably moved, so I did not maybe realign them properly. You can see just small adjustment, but general, right here, if you look around the halos, how it's created, you see how it's sharper become, better quality, because if we're going with original and upscale, you can see it does. And notice majority, like right here, details. This is dots right there. They did not exist. This is what diffusion model can do. Before, it definitely you can see it does not exist, those dots, and diffusion model will recognize, analyze everything, which nice with AI, and add those extra details, which with other models, we cannot do it. So they need to understand that Topaz previous model, they only can work with what they have. They cannot add content. The new diffusion models, they can add content. Okay. And this is, we can look, and in some case, I do like how it's add detalization. Look on this. Before, and this is a mini model, and after. You see, like right here, this area, this is what I was speaking. It's have it some, but again, AI need to recognize and say this, clean up and add way more details. And nice things, it's a balanced model. What I found about this, it's a well-balanced model, and it does not add crazy details. Because one problem with some what I created before, and I would recommend for you to check my gigapixels review when I did with a slider, and they have different options, and you can see right there was some problems when too much details. And I think they're kind of afraid a little bit that may happen here. So that's why they lock just to like perfect medium or whatever they call it. It's not maybe necessary you want more details. Sometimes, well, tough luck, you're kind of stuck with this. But general, I will say this did a very impressive upscale, and this is 5 seconds segment. Well, let's have a couple more tips for you. One, tell you, so when you render maybe as single images if you think you will stop, because what's happening if you have it export quarantine, you can see some of my tests want to run like for 6 hours. Some of them run for 50. By the way, the 6 hours was run for the Lithogram all cartoon. So Walt Disney, before he was Walt Disney Studios, yes, in he had his studio called Lithogram. And in his studio, there was producing some cartoons. Some, of course, first cartoons with a well low resolution that we have right now, like this Alice in Wonderland. And actually, they already produced that time the actor inside the live actor inside the cartoon. So it was very impressive. And we speak it's before 1924 when he came to California, way early before that, he created these cartoons. But what I was trying to say, I run this one through Starlight, but the problem is when you already have it like a low resolution, it's hard to see. Only what Starlight add, it's improve on those lines, all the film lines in grain, to kind of work introduction, but because it already was low resolution, it's hard to compare. It's the reason why I said then, when you compare, it's much easier to compare. If you have it like perfect source code, you downgrade it, upgrade it, and then you can compare side by side, see how it will work. Well, this is more of that we'll do in our more in-depth review, because this is still be kind of fresh, new, and I have it feelings they will have it updates coming out very soon more on this. But meanwhile, I will go more and more to experiment, and this is take a lot of time, honestly, guys, because, well, you see 15-16 hours to render and create it. And if you was watching so far this video, your support greatly appreciated, because it's what make us going. And thank you for if you put it. Thanks if you subscribe to the channel. All your support is greatly appreciated. Well, this is kind of what overview I want to give you about the Starlight and try to explain how does it work, what does diffusion work, and just a little bit some comparison to the footage so you can see the quality and why I think Starlight, it is a changer. And how to say, for me personally, I think it is actually the best right now in the market for several reasons. Number one, you don't need to install your own stable diffusion server to run the video. Yes, you can do this. You can do through Comfy.ui or other things, similar things, but it's pain. Trust me, I run so many servers and it's hard. And as something updated, some crash it, you need to do. This is a very sleek, smooth interface, much easier to manage and run stuff from there. So that is a huge benefit. You just install it, you don't worry, and it's working. You only focus on your creations. You don't focus on how to do this, okay? That is a big plus. The minus, of course, no control. Yes, minus, you needed very good hardware if you want to run locally. But the plus, you run locally. You don't need work paying for the credits. You don't need work this. And in many cases, what I adjust segments, set about maybe to 30-second segment, then it will run overnight while you're going and have it sleep. So you can set this way, but I would recommend probably about 5-10 second segments work the best on your local machine. Well, thank you for watching. I'll put this AI video on a back so you can watch and enjoy it, see some new creations. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.